Welcome to TIP, the leader in the trailer renting and leasing business. TIP is committed to being the reliable, hassle-free transportation solutions company. The purpose of this video is to give you a general overview of what happens in a branch on a daily basis, and to introduce you to the TIP employees who work in the field to serve our customers. Together, we'll take a tour of 3 different branches. We'll look at both their similarities and differences. At these branches, we'll be talking with branch operations managers, mechanics, and sales managers about their responsibilities and day-to-day activities. Finally, we'll be looking at the basic operations of the branch, including inspections, inventory control, maintenance, and repairs. The overall purpose of any branch is to rent, lease, and sell trailers, and to provide a convenient way for customers to pick up and drop off trailers as they are needed. That's why branches are usually located near major highways and industrial or commercial areas. An area like Southern California has several branches of different sizes that all work together to serve one of the busiest trucking areas in the country. In the next few minutes, you'll see 3 of these branches. First, you'll see Commerce, a super branch with the largest yard and number of trailers. They also have the largest staff, including operations, mechanics, and salespeople. Next, you'll see the Vernon branch, which has a yard about half the size of the Commerce branch and a much smaller staff. Finally, we'll make a stop at Anaheim, which has a much smaller yard than Vernon and about half the staff. Now let's find out more about each of these branches.
We would be considered a super branch on how they break down the classification of different branches. And we have operations staff, mechanic staff, and then the 2 sales that are based out of here. And we do help the other branches when there's a large order because we have well over 1,000 trailers located out of here.
We're the largest branch in the Los Angeles area, and because of that, it acts like a hub for Southern California. It takes in a lot of transient trailers, and a lot of trailers come one way in and one way out. And with that kind of activity, there's increased phone calls, increased activity between Devon and Commerce and other branches in the country.
You have local customers that only may haul in California who may have 10 of their own trailers, and at a month in they may need 20 or 30 for a specific customer for a close-in of a month or a quarter in. And at that point, that's when they would come to TIP and get their peak trailers, the trailers during their peak season. And they may need 20 or 30 trailers just for one customer for 1 month. And then we have other customers that have 40 or 50 or 60 trailers, and they'll keep them out for a long period of time, long-term lease.
Now let's look at Anaheim and Vernon, which are much smaller but just as busy as the Commerce branch.
We do need to be where our customers are, especially like our major customers. Some of our customers have over 100 trailers on rent, and they want to be as close as possible. That gets us, that is part of the reason why we get their business. As far as staff, we have 2 salespeople. We have a total of 4 operations people, including myself, and we have a staff of 3 mechanics. And we've also just hired a driver/mechanic. His primary responsibility is to deliver trailers, pick up trailers, and that sort of thing. And it's quite challenging because some days we don't have a whole lot of space to deal with. So we just got to make sure we have enough orders versus returns, so we keep a balance during the course of the day.
We have grown the fleet and our ins and outs on a daily basis. Sometimes well, for example, yesterday we had approximately 50 trailers in and out, and that's transactions basically, and that's a lot of work.
We could have our slow periods and nothing will go in and out
for maybe an hour or so, and then you'll have like 4 hours straight. You have drivers in and out, and then the phones go on, and then you still have to answer the phones, and you have to deal with whoever walks in.
We're only on 2 acres here, so our facility doesn't hold that many trailers. So we use the other branches to work with us as well.
Currently, there's 4 people on staff, 2 in operations, Mary's in sales, and we have Milton, who is our mechanic.
As you have seen, a branch consists of a modular trailer-type building surrounded by a yard with a number of van and flatbed trailers. The larger branches have a larger staff with more trailers and more facilities for maintenance and repairs. However, all branches are very busy every day. What makes these branches really run are the people that work there. Let's learn about the major jobs in a branch.
As an operations manager, I'm responsible for getting the equipment ready, which is a big concern, making sure we charge the proper rates, having the equipment actually ready when the customer does show up, not shoved in the back row with a big hole in it or missing some tires, getting the customer hooked up to it.
In some branches, there is also an assistant operations manager.
As assistant operations manager, we're helping out with the day-to-day activities of the branch. That includes inspecting trailers in and out, taking care of things such as the tire recapping, damages, bids through different vendors that come to our yard, as well as managing the mechanics and the general operations in the bookkeeping, the billing, and the account payable sides of the business.
Now let's look at the role of the mechanic.
Our mechanic he actually does the repairs on our trailers, the repairs that he can actually do. Some of them, of course, we have to vend out.
Our responsibility is basically to make sure that our units are roadworthy and they meet the federal highway standards, and that, they're safe and all the things are working.
The difficult is when they need they have a customer, they need 20 or 15 trailers at a time.
If there's any questions, for example, with a reefer or a lift gate, if they need to know how to operate it, if they need additional information, that's where Milton would also step in and show them exactly how to bring down a lift gate, or to turn on a reefer, or to set the temperature gauge, that kind of a thing.
Branch operations also works closely with sales. Let's learn more about the sales function.
Sales at TIP is getting in front of customers and trying to handle their transportation solutions, visiting people face to face. It's important to look at their facility, look what type of operation they have.
In the old days, we'd come back, you want 10 trailers, here's a rate. And then we would just go into a rate war with our competition, and that's not what we're selling. We're selling quality, we're selling service, and we're selling a lot more that's behind the rate that we offer.
One thing I like about sales is we touch on all aspects of size of businesses, from 3 employees to 3,000 employees. We'll deal from one-day rentals into 100 trailer sales packages. So you're always changing what you're selling. It doesn't become that you're selling Model A or whatever the one item you're going to be selling to a lot of different customers.
We find out what type of equipment that he needs and how long he's going to need it for. We can come in there and set him up with the right program, whether it's a long-term lease, whether it's a rental, whether it's a lease with an option to purchase, or an outright purchase where he may want to buy his equipment outright.
I do quite a bit of cold calling myself, and I found that by doing that, I'm able to generate some relationships with some people out there that we didn't have business before. And I always make it a point to do 3 or 4 cold calls a day.
We look at ourselves instead of not just being a salesperson, but a consultant, going in and finding out more about his business and then giving him some solutions as it pertains to trailers.
Teamwork in a branch is critical to success. Also, because of small staffs in a branch, everyone has to pitch in and do whatever it takes to serve the customer. For example, when 3 drivers pull into the yard at once, everyone drops what they're doing and picks up a clipboard.
The phones are ringing off the hook, and there's 10 drivers out in the driveway. If I have to, I'll just grab the paperwork and go back to the shop to get it done.
Get them all green tagged, get them ready, get the leases inspected ahead of time before the drivers all show up at one time, and as well as making sure the mechanics are on top of getting the right equipment ready, whether it's 53-footers or 48-foot with roll doors. They're usually looking for a specific type of trailer. So we need to work together and to communicate that in a fast pace so that we can react very quickly. The misconception that we have, or that corporate would have with the branches is how much work that really is done. And I've had an opportunity to go back to the former Bala Kinwood before we moved to Devon Service Center, and to get to see how much work that they have to do as well is a misconception that we have in the branch.
Branches are involved in the activities that provide customers with the trailers they need when they need them. From the initial sales visit through getting trailers ready to roll to checking them back in, all are functions of a branch. Let's look in more detail at the specific branch operations that are the most important. These include inspections, inventory control, maintenance and repairs. Let's start by looking at inspections. Inspections are done before a trailer is released to a customer for rental or lease, and then inspections are done again when the trailer returns to the yard. Outbound inspections ensure that the trailer is roadworthy and to note the condition of the trailer before it leaves the yard. Inbound inspections identify maintenance that needs to be performed and any damage that must be charged to the customer.
On an outbound inspection, you start at the front of the trailer and basically just do a full circle, checking every aspect of the trailer. When you're at the front, you're looking at the bottom rail and the panels for any kind of holes, cuts, damage. Obviously on the outbound, you don't want any to be there, and they should not be there. You're also checking the service glad hand, which the driver hooks up to. You're looking at all the lights as you walk around the trailer. As you get toward the rear of the trailer, you check the tires, make sure they're the right tread depth, the right air pressure. There's not a bias tire next to a radial tire. You look underneath, check the brake shoes. You check the brake lines, the cross members. Then you move around to the back. You check the door. Is the door going up and down properly, or is it opening left to right properly? Is it sealing up properly? You go inside, you look at the roof, you look at the ply.
We do inspections both when a trailer leaves the yard and when it returns to the yard. The inspection when it leaves the yard is to check to make sure that the trailer is 100% road ready, to make sure that we note all past and previous damages and repairs so that the next customer won't be charged for them. Upon return, we need to check for any new damages and any new situations that may have occurred with the trailer that would cause it not to be road ready at that time. We check every single part of the trailer, from the roof of the trailer to the undercarriage, the tires, the brakes, equalizers, airlines, bottom rails, everything on that trailer. We will go from the front of the trailer to the rear, open and close the doors, go inside, look at the roof, look at the floor, the walls. Every detail is checked on the trailer. On a reefer inspection, that would be a refrigerated unit. We also need to check the fuel amount in the tank and the hours on the reefer to make sure that we don't charge the customer for hours that they haven't used.
Now let's look at the next function, inventory control. It's important to know at all times what types of trailers are in the yard and where they're located, so that we can easily fill orders and have trailers ready when customers need them.
Every day we do a yard map that shows us which trailers we have in the yard and their status, whether it be red tagged, necessary to do repairs, or green tagged, ready to roll. We use one side of the yard for our red tag or damaged trailers, and the other side of the yard we park our green tagged or ready to roll trailers that are in good shape. When a particular customer needs a trailer, we will have our yard jockey pull out that trailer and position the other trailers according to needs of other customers.
As far as the inventory of tires is concerned, I mean, you got to do that once a month just to make sure you're not losing anything.
Our branches maintain the fleet as well as perform maintenance for customers as part of their lease. Mechanics will also do an in-depth inspection of trailers to find ways to prevent problems. Typical routine maintenance includes changing and rotating tires, brake jobs, changing bulbs and fluids, and fueling reefer units.
We get a whole slew of brake jobs, but those are the most common things, oil seals and brake jobs.
We do 1 or 2 a day. Brake job, we spend almost 6 hours, 6 hours and a half. We inspected the whole team, brakes, air system, lights, all that.
If a branch has a mechanic, many repairs can be done at the branch. Otherwise, repairs are sent out to a vendor. Typical repairs include fixing panels on the outside, repairing ply on the inside, and on occasion, replacing axles. Our branches also perform emergency breakdown service, where the mechanics travel to the customer's road locations and make repairs.
We run across a lot of different types of damage, as in this case right here, we had damage to the panel. It was torn right here. So in this case, we had to section it to make sure also that it's watertight, so that no water or anything gets like that to damage the cargo that would eventually come in here. Also, when the wood is smooth, it won't tear up the boxes. Sometimes they have plastic and things, and also, like I said, the seal, it has to be air and light tight, depending on the type of cargo.
To properly utilize our tires, we need to do recapping here at the location, tracking the tires that come off of the trailers, keeping track of the tread depths, sending them out for recapping, returning them, and putting them back on the trailers as needed.
Whether it's an after-hour road call, emergency breakdown, or during business hours, that we have repair facilities that we can call on to get repairs. We have a mobile service van that we can send out of here, out of this location and some other locations, with our mechanic to be able to handle any road call. And if it's something that's major, then we can call on different vendors that we've already set up within the area.
As we've seen in our trip to 3 branches, working in a branch is a fast-paced, multifaceted job. Operations and sales work together to ensure that customers can rent and lease the trailers they need when they need them. In this video, we learned that the job of the operations manager includes inspecting trailers, managing trailer inventory, supervising mechanics, and a wide range of administrative tasks. We also saw the mechanics who are responsible for getting trailers ready to roll. They spend most of their time on preventive maintenance and minor repairs, such as brake jobs, repairing seals, and fixing tires. Finally, we learned that sales is responsible for finding new customers and finding ways to satisfy those customers' needs. In all, we say that no matter how large or small a branch is, every staff member has an important role to play in providing reliable, hassle-free transportation solutions to our customers.